Most men over 50 think losing morning erections is just normal aging. It's not. It is often the first measurable sign of vascular decline. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this happens, and, more importantly, the specific mechanism that restores it naturally. I remember the exact morning the realization hit me. It wasn't a sudden shock, but a quiet, unsettling observation that cut through the silence of the bedroom. I woke up, the sun was just beginning to bleed through the curtains, and my body felt dormant. For decades, waking up with an erection was as automatic as breathing. It was a biological constant, a silent reassurance that the machinery was working. But that signal had faded. It happened again over the following weeks, and that's when I started investigating the physiology. I realized my body was trying to tell me something urgent. The disappearance of morning erections is the biological equivalent of the canary in the coal mine. It is a distress signal sent from the vascular system. But the good news, once I understood the mechanism, I realized this process can be reversed. It wasn't a permanent loss, it was a mechanical failure that could be fixed. I didn't want the superficial advice found in men's magazines. I wanted the hard science. Morning erections, scientifically known as Nocturnal Penile Tumescence, are not about arousal. They are a byproduct of the REM sleep cycle. Throughout the night, as your brain cycles through rapid eye movement sleep, your body floods with oxygenated blood to repair tissues. The rest and digest system takes over and tells the arteries to relax and open up. When they open, blood rushes in, trapping itself within the spongy tissue, creating rigidity. This is your body's way of performing a system check. So why does this stop after 50? The answer lies in the plumbing. It requires a specific level of vascular pressure to achieve that passive rigidity. If the pressure drops, or if the pipes are stiff, the signal fails. The culprit, I learned, is often a condition called endothelial dysfunction. The endothelium is the thin layer of cells lining the inside of every blood vessel in your body. Think of it like the non-stick coating on a frying pan. When you are young, this coating is slick and smooth. But as we age, specifically past 50, that lining gets scratched by oxidative stress, high sugar, and cortisol. When the endothelium is damaged, it loses the ability to produce a magical molecule called nitric oxide. This was the key. Nitric oxide is the gas that tells your arteries to relax and expand. Without enough of it, your arteries remain constricted and stiff. This is where the timeline of aging intersects with biology. After 50, natural nitric oxide production drops significantly. Simultaneously, we often see the beginnings of atherosclerosis, the accumulation of arterial plaque. This is where the urgency comes in. You have to realize that the vessels in the reproductive system are much smaller than the coronary arteries feeding your heart. They are about 1 to 2 millimeters wide, whereas coronary arteries are 3 to 4 millimeters. This means plaque accumulation blocks the smaller vessels first. Because penile arteries are smaller than coronary arteries, they often show damage years before a cardiac event, like a heart attack or stroke. That silence in the morning wasn't just a lack of wood, it was the sound of my arteries hardening. I remember talking to a friend of mine. Let's call him David. David is 54, looks fit, goes to the gym. He confessed to me over a beer that he thought his manhood was retiring. He felt less masculine, less capable. He thought it was just low testosterone. While testosterone plays a role, it is rarely the sole cause of the morning erection loss. Testosterone provides the desire, the vascular system provides the hydraulic mechanics. You can have all the testosterone in the world, but if the pipes are clogged or stiff, the pressure won't hold. I told David what I was learning, that this was about blood flow, resistance, and inflammation. Endothelial dysfunction is not a life sentence. The lining of the arteries can repair itself under the right conditions. We needed to look at insulin resistance. Even if you aren't diabetic, years of blood sugar spikes create microinflammation in the vessels, making them rigid. We needed to look at cortisol, the stress hormone that acts as a vasoconstrictor, literally clamping down on blood flow. This realization shifted my perspective entirely. I stopped looking for aphrodisiacs and started looking for vascular restoratives. I needed to unclog the system. I needed to polish the endothelium. I needed to restore the vascular pressure blueprint that my body knew in its 20s. I began to experiment with a protocol focused on restoration. It wasn't about taking a blue pill that forces blood into the area artificially. That's a temporary bypass, not a cure. I wanted to fix the machinery. As I connected the dots between nutrition, blood flow, and nitric oxide, I organized everything into a structured roadmap. I left it in the first link below for anyone who wants to go deeper into the exact protocol I used. But let's get back to the practical application because the how is fascinating. The first step was understanding the fuel for nitric oxide. I couldn't just wish for my arteries to relax. I had to feed them. I started integrating high nitrate foods, but not just randomly. I looked at concentrated beetroot extract and L-citrulline. Unlike L-arginine, which gets broken down by the liver before it can do much good, L-citrulline bypasses the liver and converts to arginine in the kidneys, providing a sustained release of nitric oxide. I combined this with a radical look at my sleep. Remember, morning wood is a product of REM sleep. If you have sleep apnea or if you drink alcohol before bed, you are obliterating your REM cycles. No REM, no testing phase, no morning erection. I cut the nightcap and focused on deep restorative rest. Then came the insulin component. I realized that my healthy diet was full of hidden sugars that were keeping my insulin slightly elevated. Insulin is inflammatory to the endothelium. By switching to a diet that prioritized healthy fats and proteins and restricted eating to a specific window, intermittent fasting, I gave my blood vessels a break from the constant insulin assault. The results didn't happen overnight. It took about 3 weeks of consistency. I remember the morning it changed. I woke up and before I even opened my eyes, I felt it. That familiar pressure, that undeniable sign of life. It wasn't weak, it was firm. It was a 100% rigid indication that my blood was flowing freely. It felt like a victory, not just sexually, but medically. It was proof that the micro blockages were clearing, that the endothelial lining was healing, and that the nitric oxide pumps were turning back on. David saw my progress and decided to try it. He had been prescribed testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, and wasn't seeing the morning results he expected. He had the energy, but not the hydraulics. I explained to him that testosterone is the driver, but the vascular system is the car. If the car has flat tires, the best driver in the world can't make it go fast. David started applying these vascular restoration principles, increasing his nitrate intake, managing his cortisol through breath work, and specifically using resistance training protocols that encourage the creation of new blood vessels. 2 months later, David called me. He didn't have to say much. He just said, "I feel like I'm 30 again." He wasn't talking about his mindset. He was talking about his biology. His blood pressure had normalized, his energy was stable, and yes, the morning signal had returned. This is the crucial takeaway. The loss of morning erections is a symptom of a systemic issue, usually involving inflammation and circulation. When you address the root cause, the health of the arteries, the symptom resolves itself. You don't fix the erection, you fix the man. You restore the environment in which the erection can occur naturally. It's a compounding effect. When you restore blood flow, you oxygenate the tissues. When the tissues are oxygenated, they prevent fibrosis, scarring. When you prevent fibrosis, you maintain size and elasticity. It is a cycle of positive reinforcement. Conversely, ignoring the problem leads to atrophy. If that tissue isn't getting engorged regularly with oxygen-rich blood, the cells begin to die off and are replaced by non-elastic collagen. That is permanent damage. That is why waiting is not an option. The connection between the heart and the penis is absolute. By fixing this now, you aren't just improving your sex life. You are quite literally adding years to your life and preventing cardiac events. I realized that regaining this ability wasn't about vanity. It was about recovering a marker of vitality. It was about knowing that my blood is thin, viscous, and moving freely to every corner of my biology. It's about being a fully functional man, regardless of the calendar year. If you are sitting there thinking that your ship has sailed, or that this is just how it is now, let me tell you, you are wrong. The body is incredibly regenerative. The endothelium can heal, plaque can stabilize and regress, nitric oxide levels can be boosted, but you need a map. If you want to understand exactly how to restore your vascular pressure and recover firm erections naturally, the guide I mentioned earlier is in the first link in the description. It details the specific nutrients, the timing, and the movement patterns that reverse vascular aging. To answer the question we started with, why do morning erections disappear? They disappear because of endothelial dysfunction. They disappear because of the silent accumulation of arterial plaque. They fade because of the reduction of nitric oxide and the gradual decline of bioavailable testosterone. They vanish because inflammation and insulin resistance make the vessel walls stiff and unresponsive. But they can come back. They come back when you remove the initial arterial blockages. They return when you restore the natural production of nitric oxide through diet and supplementation. They return when you reduce systemic inflammation and improve your sensitivity to insulin. They come back when you stimulate real, unassisted blood flow. This journey is not about age, it is about circulation. And circulation can be restored. I am living proof, David is living proof, and thousands of men who have stopped accepting normal aging as an excuse are living proof. It doesn't require miracles, it requires science, physiology, and practical action. Don't ignore the silence in the morning. Listen to it. It's your body asking for help. And now, you know how to answer. If you found value in this story and want to continue exploring the authentic scientific path to men's health and vitality, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We are building a community of men who refuse to go quietly into the night. We are reclaiming our health, one marker at a time. I'll see you in the next video.